Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. If everyone ready, City Attorney, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
City Clerk,
Yes, sir.
City Manager,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin. Is Commissioner Everett on?
Commissioner Everett?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, sir. Sergeant Alarm, Lieutenant. Ready, sir. Thank you. I call this workshop of Tuesday, March 26, 2019, to order at 6:13. May we please stand for the invocation given by Pastor Dr. Robert Reese, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, we're truly thankful to you for this day that you've made. We have come and to rejoice and be glad in it. As we gather into this place to discuss the business of Pahokee, we ask that your presence be here among us, to guide us in everything that we do, Lord. It is truly our desire to honor you and to do things according to your will. We ask your blessing upon this commissioners and the mayor and the citizens that are here today. Lord, we thank you for all the blessings you have poured upon the city of Pahokee, and we look forward to what you're going to do later. So bless us now as we come together. We ask it all in your name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab?
Present.
Commissioner Everett? Commissioner Everett?
Here.
Commissioner Hill?
Present.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Present.
Commissioner Walker?
Present.
City Manager?
Here.
City Attorney?
Here.
Lieutenant Piccolo?
Here.
City Clerk present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank each of you all here today to participate in our workshop of Tuesday, March 26, 2019. Thanks to Pastor Dr. Robert Reese for the invocation, and also on behalf of Representative Tina Pelosi's office, thank you for attending. Our workshop will be to discuss our agenda for tonight. And at this time, I would turn this portion over to our city manager to lead us in the workshop topic discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. Commission, citizens, friends, thanks for coming out, joining us tonight. Mayor, Commission, we have a short agenda. We do have our swearing in at our regular scheduled commission meeting at 6:30. We do have some additions to the agenda, 3 resolutions. Most of that is involving construction and renovations of our streets here in the city of Pahokee, so that's a great thing to have on the agenda tonight. And ratification of a proclamation. We have presentations lawn of the month, and if there's any new business or conversations for the Marina, we'll allow the city attorney to update us on those activities. Right now, I want to take a privilege, if we can. We had an opportunity with a regional organization that works with many of the cities and counties to develop promotional videos. You may have seen this video that promotes the city of Pahokee. It's a great, advertisement for the city of Pahokee. It provides investors, future interest groups who want to come to the city of Pahokee, just a small view into what we have to offer now and in the future. We're going to utilize this video effectively to work with possible organizations, entities, corporations that have an interest here in the city of Pahokee. We know we've had, a rebranding of our city. We've done some great things here as far as infrastructure, and we want to just highlight, some of those things. And this organization that works regionally with a lot of the cities was able to come in and provide us that opportunity. So what we're going to do with that video promotional advertisement is take it and turn it around and put it into a short but specific PowerPoint presentation for larger organizations and for a larger, wider audience beyond Palm Beach County, and really, to be frank with you, beyond the state of Florida. We have an opportunity coming up in a couple of months that we will be setting down with several organizations to highlight the positives of this community and the need for economic development. And so we hope you support us in that. And once we get back, we'll report back what our hopefully our success rate is. But for now, if the audio is ready, I want to show you this video, Mayor. It's about, I think it's about 3 minutes.
Pahokee, Florida is a little city with a big vision. It's easy to see why. The view of Lake Okeechobee is spectacular.
That's not it.
That's it, but it's just not sure.
Pahokee, Florida is a little city with a big vision. It's easy.
While he's tuning that up, it took about, well, here you go.
Pahokee, Florida.
It took about 2 to 3 months to kind of pull this together. The funding that came that support these, and we're not the only city that was provided a promotional video of this sort. The funding was provided through the Florida legislature, and so Federal, actually the actual regional group, they are provided those funds, and what they do is they assist municipalities to promote the interest, to a wider audience. And so we didn't have to expend any funds for this video. It was actually a part of us being inside or being a member of Federal. There we go.
Pahokee, Florida is a little city with big vision. It's easy to see why. The view of Lake Okeechobee is spectacular, and the progressive community leadership is pretty impressive too.
We want our residents to want to be here, to love to be here. This is a great place to work, play, and actually live.
The city is determined to build a new Florida hotspot for ecotourism and business. The Pahokee Campground and Marina, on the shores of America's second largest freshwater lake, just finished a $1.2 million upgrade. There's new landscaping, parking lots, security, and plans for a restaurant deck overlooking the lake. The state of Florida has awarded Pahokee 5 major grants to enhance infrastructure and amenities, from sidewalks and lighting to drainage and public parks. This is the only city with direct access to the lake. You can fish on the seawall or drop your boat in the water and spend the day in paradise. The right location is a huge advantage, and Pahokee offers a strategic setting, international airports, and deep water seaports nearby. Only 45 minutes to Palm Beach, 80 miles to Miami, and 90 miles to Fort Myers in the Gulf of Mexico, all via U.S. and state highways. Class 1 rail runs adjacent to the city. Sugar from Florida begins its journey here with destinations across the nation and around the world. With lower land, labor, and operational costs, companies here enjoy significant competitive advantages. In fact, overall costs are 12% lower than crowded urban markets. Pahokee is a family-oriented community. There is a comfortable small-town feeling. People love it here. Life is serene. The days are peaceful and productive. The regional workforce has a heritage in agriculture and tourism. Workers are skilled, hands-on, blue-collar, and deeply loyal to their companies.
I would say to any business looking to do business anywhere in the state of Florida that the city of Pahokee would be one of the first that I would look at. We're ready to explode. We have worked really hard in improving our infrastructure. We have great schools, we have great parks, so if you want to have an opportunity to grow, this is the place to be.
If your company is engaged in distribution, warehousing, manufacturing, or ecotourism, come explore this beautiful city with a big vision. Here in Pahokee, Florida, we are building a city and community of choice for living, working, and business development. So come check us out, and you'll love what you see.
All right. Well, you don't get any better than that as far as promoting your city. Again, we're going to be utilizing that video to, take the message out to those interested parties that, as the mayor said on that video, that want to be here in the city of Pahokee and help move this city forward. So that's something to be proud of. It'll be on our city website. I've seen it in a couple of other places on our city Facebook page. Others have tagged it and put it in other places, and that's great. When you take a message like that and you put it out there, it sort of numbs the other conversations that typically kind of rise up in a community like this that are negative. So those are positives that we need to kind of lean on and utilize for the city of Pahokee. And it takes all of us promoting the city. It's not just the folks up here on this dais. It takes all of us who live in this community, who have a heart for this community to see it move forward. It takes all of us. So I want to thank Pharaoh and all the organizations that were able to bring that video into life for us. And again, it's a signature piece that we'll be utilizing for the city of Pahokee in the very near future. So, yeah. Man, I don't really have a report to give, except on the agenda, it's very light tonight. I would like to say we'll be moving forward with the demolition on the old City Hall. From our previous demolition, we had pre-qualified contractors. We're still putting that scope of work together. Once that is pulled together, we'll be sending that back out to the pre-qualified contractors and requesting their full package for consideration to this commission, well, selection and then consideration. So probably maybe end of April, maybe beginning of May, we'll see some action over there at the old City Hall. I already got some interest in that property as well, and so that's very exciting. Next month is April. We're going into April, so we can't forget about the Great American Cleanup. That's coming up in the next couple of weeks. I think we're going to do a little bit more different this year. We may assign block captains for each street in Pahokee, so they don't have to wrench out too far away from their homes. They can actually clean up on their streets specifically. I think we're going to try and, that approach this year, as well as address all the general areas. Should be a fun day again. That is scheduled for April 27th. Typically it's a little earlier, but we have to compete with other activities going on around the county, but it's April 27th this year for the Great American Cleanup. In addition to that, Mayor, Mel Tillis' sign is ready, has been ready for quite some time, but we had to wait till some of the family members were available. I was in contact with one specific family member from Mel Tillis. She was actually on set filming a movie in Nashville for the last 2 months, and so it was very difficult to pull all the family here, but we were in constant contact. And finally, this past weekend, she was able to kind of step away from her filming and give me a phone call and say they would like to have April 1st as the date that they'll have an opportunity to come here and do a little short ceremony and unveiling of that sign. So the sign actually will be installed this Thursday in the morning. We'll wrap it and keep it wrapped until that upcoming Monday until we unveil it. But so happy to get that project off the shelf, and we're looking forward to meeting some of Mel Tillis' family and having a little brief ceremony out on East Main Street. If you want to know, that sign will be placed on East Main Street, coming in from the Canal Point entryway, coming into the city on East Main, right there near the subway and service station there, gas service station there. So that's where that sign will go. So hopefully it is pleasing for the city and for the relatives of Mel Tillis as well.
Thank you, City Manager. We only have a few minutes left. I want to give the City Commission opportunity to ask the City Manager any question or any comments you may have, and I'll start with Vice Mayor Clara Murphy.
I have none at this time, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Walker. Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Hill.
None at this time.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, I will adjourn our workshop and reconvene in about 3 minutes. Thank you. Okay, we can go ahead and get started. City Attorney, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
City Clerk,
Yes, sir.
City Manager,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett.
Yes, sir, please don't forget about it.
I'm gonna try not to. It's hard when I don't see the face, but I'm gonna do my best. Commissioner Hill,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Walker,
Yes.
Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin, Sergeant at Arms. I call this meeting of the City of Pahokee, regular City Commission meeting of Tuesday, March 26, 2019, at 6:33 p.m. to order. May we please stand for the invocation given by Dr. Pastor Robert Reese, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we are truly thankful for this evening as we come together to discuss the business of the city of Pahokee. We invoke your presence to be here among us, Lord, to guide us in what we should do, that everything we do will bring glory and honor to you. We ask your blessing upon each person who gathered in this place this evening as we look to the future to see what you have provided and what you will provide for us. We thank you and we give you praise in your precious name. Amen.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab,
Present.
Commissioner Everett. Commissioner Everett. Commissioner Hill,
Present.
Commissioner Walker,
Present.
Vice Mayor Mervin.
Present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. And thank each of you all for being here tonight to participate in our regular scheduled City Commission meeting of Tuesday, March 26, 2019. Thank you, Dr. Reese, for the invocation. It's a exciting night in Pahokee. We just had a recent election. I know we have a lot of family members here to witness their loved one being sworn in. We have a short agenda tonight. We're going to strictly follow it and get you out here in a timely manner. So at this time, we would have our swearing in of our new and our newly re-elected city commissioners. Yes, but I will give you an opportunity to make a comment after we do the swearing in. And then,
Can I do it before?
it's a lot of folks looking forward to this activity,
Okay, just-
but I'll make sure that
Okay.
you have an opportunity to
thank you.
speak.
Mayor, please stand up. Congratulations
Thank
on your very large win. Could you please raise your right hand? And repeat after me. I
I,
state your name.
Keith W. Babb Jr.,
Do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States of America and the state of Florida.
you know you say it a lot.
Go slow.
Keith,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Florida.
and the state of Florida,
That I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution of this state,
to hold an office under the Constitution of the United States
of this state,
of this state
and charter of the city of Pahokee.
and charter of the city of Pahokee,
That I will well
that I will well
and faithfully perform the duties of the office
and faithfully perform the duties of the office
of mayor of the city of Pahokee,
of the city of Pahokee,
which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
which I'm now about to enter, so help me God.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Who's next? Vice Mayor. Congratulations
Thank you,
on
sir.
your very overwhelming win.
Thank you.
Would you please raise your right hand? I state your name.
I, Clara Tasha Mervin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and protect
the Constitution and government of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and government of the
and
United
government
States
of
of
the United States of
America
America
and the state of Florida,
and the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution of this state
to hold office under the Constitution of this state
and charter of the city of Pahokee,
and charter of the city of Pahokee,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
perform the duties of the office of the city of Pahokee on which I am now about to enter.
to perform the duties
Of the office
of
of
the
the
office of the
city
city
of
of
Pahokee
Pahokee,
on
which
which
I
I am
am-
now about to enter.
on which now I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. This is also partially a memory test.
Okay.
And now let's invite our new commissioner to come forward. Get him, Tiger. I
I, Regina Hill Bowen,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Florida,
and the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution of the state
to hold office under the Constitution of this state
and charter of the city of Pahokee,
and charter of the city of Pahokee,
that I will well
that I will well
and faithfully perform
and faithfully perform
the duties of the office of the city of Pahokee,
the duty of the offices of the city of Pahokee,
on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Before a new commissioner, Commissioner-elect, and now our new Commissioner Regina Bolden come up, I would like to have our outgoing Commissioner Walker come down and be allowed to say a few words. In addition to that, on behalf of the Pahokee, if the city commission also could come down. Commissioner Walker has requested to say a few words, and before we get to that, she had asked prior to the swearing in, and I just wanted to follow Robert Rules of Order. I know this is a sacred ceremony, and I wanted to make sure we followed it in the proper order. However, Commissioner Walker has served this city faithfully, and she basically like me, she would say, look, I don't need all this congratulations, I don't need any surprises, and I'm basically the same way. I don't even like a surprise party. I was told this information, and as mayor, I just totally ignored it. Because I feel that someone who have served this city so long and considered the community commission deserve an opportunity to say whatever she wants to, and we as sitting commissioners deserve to have an opportunity to give her a farewell presentation. So Commissioner Walker, on behalf of the Pahokee City Commission, Commissioner Regina Bolden, Commissioner Vice Mayor Clara Mervin, Commissioner Benny Everett III, Commissioner Felicia Hill, our city manager Chandler Williamson, and our entire city staff, along with this community, say congratulations to you on a job well done. Since Commissioner Walker was elected, she has never been defeated. She has always been in the community, always assisting our residents, and even when she got ill, she missed very, very few meetings or workshops. She was committed to this job, and only her health stopped her from continuing to go forward. So we continue to pray for Commissioner Walker, continued recovery and good health, and we wish you nothing but the best. We have a proclamation for Commissioner Walker. I would like for our city attorney to read this out on record. We have a plaque and some flowers. City attorney.
This is a proclamation honoring Diane L. Walker on the occasion of her years of service as an elected official. Whereas Diane L. Walker was appointed and then first elected in March 11, 2008, and subsequently re-elected in 2010, 13, and 16. And whereas Ms. Walker has dutifully served as a city commissioner for 11 years. And whereas Ms. Walker will retire from elected office on March 26, 2019, with the swearing in of her successor. And whereas Ms. Walker has exemplified commitment, dedication to Pahokee, and strive to serve the citizens with profound honor and courage. Whereas Ms. Walker will always have the respect of her fellow elected officials, appointed officials, and the citizens of the city of Pahokee. Now therefore, be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, that they do hereby honor Diana Walker on the occasion of serving as an elected official and express appreciation to her for her 11 years of faithful and dedicated service as a city commissioner. Signed by all of our commissioners.
And before we actually present the proclamation, is any of Commissioner Walker family here? Could you please come up and join her if you're here?
Amen, amen. Y'all give 'em a big hand.
And next, we have a beautiful plaque to present to Commissioner Walker. And at this time, we'll have our Vice Mayor, Clara Mervin, present and read the certificate of appreciation.
Presenting to Diane L. Walker, years of service, March 11, 2008 to March 12, 2019. In grateful recognition of 11 years of service and dedication to the city of Pahokee, presented this 26th day of March 2019.
All right.
I don't even have to tell you, the color should have been blue. Zeta Phi Beta. And lastly, On behalf of the Pahokee City Commission and our staff and the community, we would like to present Commissioner Walker with a bouquet of flowers. And at this time, I will have our Commissioner Felicia Hill present the bouquet of flowers.
I just want to present these to Commissioner Walker. She's been one of the few that they've called a commissioner, community commissioner, and she is well deserved. I don't care what we've gone through. I just wanted to know I do love her. I don't care what people may say. I know how I was raised, and I know you know that. So congratulations, and you are one of the best community commissioners and commissioners that we've had here. And thank you so much for your services.
Now, at this time, it is my honor and pleasure to allow our outgoing commissioner, the community commissioner, Diane L. Walker, to say a few words.
Good morning, good evening. Thank you all so much. But, thank you for the flowers, the plaque and the, proclamation. Thank you all so much for the recognition. But I want to say, I want to say to the commission, to the community, but first of all, I thank God for allowing me the opportunity to serve this community. He gave his grace and his mercy to allow me to be able to do the things that I do for the community. And I just want to say thank you all for your patience. I have served you all for 4 terms, and a total of 11 years. I help serve you. I hope I serve you with dignity and credibility and loving in spirit.
Read the rest. I truly appreciate you all for your support in my time of need. Congratulations to you all, and congratulations to Regina for asking me to support you. I want what's best for our Pahokee and our citizens. The citizens elected you to serve them well. Thanks to each of you with love. God bless you, and God bless Pahokee. Amen.
Going to cry because I love Pahokee, and I'm here to support you all in every way that I can. Thank you all for
You want the red?
That's why I said it's blue, okay? But I love it even the way I love it, blue and red or white or black or whatever. I love it, okay? Because I love Pahokee.
That's it.
Can we get one official picture?
Sometimes I get all but I love my thank my family for being here I love them and they love me too. And thank you all for get my seat to redeem. Oh,
Now, Commissioner Bowden, you may join us at the podium. Thank you, and congratulations.
Yes, sir. He's still on. She's moving from the front. She's not out of the.
Yes,
All right.
okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Walker left? I think he wanted, Commissioner Everett wanted to say something to you, Commissioner.
You may proceed, Commissioner Everett.
Commissioner Walker, I just want to say to you, congratulations on your tenure and your years of service to our great city, the city of Pahokee. Right now, as I speak, they putting IV medicine in my IV, so I'm rather uncomfortable, and I really hate that I could not be there physically to enjoy this moment with you. But our relationship has definitely evolved. We've grown closer. We've grown from me just being a little boy who knew you because of you knowing my parents to becoming colleagues. And once again, I want to say congratulations. Job well done. And I know, knowing you, although you will not be on the dais with us, you're not going to be far removed from the city business and helping us move Pahokee forward. So again, I just want to say I love you, and we'll be talking and staying in communication.
thank you. I love you.
Yeah. At this time, we would do the addition, deletion, and approve of agenda items. And after that, we'll have the appointment of the vice mayor for the next year.
Thank you, Mayor. We have four additions. 3 resolutions, Resolution 2019-14, Resolution 2019-14, Resolution 2019-15, Resolution 2019-15, and Resolution 2019-16. 3 resolutions, 2019-16. In addition to that, Mayor, we have a public service announcement from Gina Levesque, from Levesque, Palm Beach County Commission on Ethics, our annual visit by the county on ethics, honesty, integrity, and character. She wants to come and provide us with some additional information for this upcoming year. That's all of additions, deletions, and approval of agenda items, Mayor.
Thank you, City Manager. Are there any additions or deletions from the agenda from the City Commission? Again, I will add the appointment of the city new vice mayor as the next order of business. So we're going to just add that to the agenda officially
Where's that going, Mayor? Where do you want that on the agenda?
after the approval of the agenda.
Understood.
So it'll be next. Hearing no additional deletions or additions, the chair would entertain a motion for the adoption of the agenda as presented with the additions.
Yeah, but I make a motion to accept the additions to the agenda, resolution 2019-14, 2019-15, 2019-16, and the Palm Beach County on ethics, Ms. Regina, also the appointment of the vice mayor.
A second?
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Hill for the adoption of the agenda with the additions. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to appoint a new or the existing vice mayor, whatever is the pleasure of the city commission. Traditionally, we try to rotate it. It's known ironclad regulation that we have to. I think in the past, Commissioner Walker has indicated that at least we should have the effort to make an appointment on an annual basis. But again, we would open the floor for any recommendation or nomination for that position. And if we don't have any nomination, then we would have I'm not rushing anyone. We would have the nomination close and have the current vice mayor serve another term, another year in office as vice mayor. What's your pleasure, city commissioners? City attorney.
That'd be a motion necessary to designate the existing vice mayor as vice mayor for the coming year.
So we have to make
You have to make a motion in a second.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the existing vice mayor, Tasha Mervin, for the position as a vice mayor for the city of Pahokee.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hill and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden that we reappoint Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin for another term as vice mayor. Call for questions. Hearing none. Are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Congratulations, Vice Mayor Mervin, for another term. And any one of these commissioners could have served in that position, but I will and want to say this, for the last and past year, Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin has served admirably. Any meeting that I can't attend, she's there. And any meeting that I do attend, she's still there. I mean, it's just phenomenal. I haven't hesitated to call upon her, to ask her to fill in my absence, and she always accept that challenge. In the past year, Commissioner Mervin, as vice mayor, haven't presided over a meeting in 3 years. I haven't missed a meeting. I don't intend to miss one. But in the event that I do, I know we have a very, very capable person to step in, and we won't miss a beat. So again, Vice Mayor Mervin, congratulations, and thank you for everything you do. You're my Batman and Robin, my peanut butter and jelly. I can't do it without you, so thank you. Now we will move to citizen comments, agenda items only. City Clerk, at this time, do we have any comment card pertaining to agenda items?
Yes, sir, we have one from Mendel. You said citizen comment. Mendel for 200 South Barfield Highway.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm not sure if I properly submitted that or not, but I'm Mandel Sandarski. I'm one of the managers for Santa Rosa ALF LLC. We are the prospective buyers for the property at 200 South Barfield and currently have it under contract. Well, the reason why I filled out the card is because we were supposed to close on the property on Thursday, and subsequent to the city signing our contract, we learned a number of things about the property that we did not know about before. And I just want to say, when we got into looking at this property, nothing was disclosed to us about it. In fact, we were told that the city didn't have any information about it, and we had to do all our own investigations, and we tried to do that. When we submitted the last contract, I thought that we had all the information we needed. Turns out we didn't, because there are some major issues with the property, and I can get into it in detail with you if you'd like, but to sum up, some of the issues we're having is that the 1987 addition, which is the front of the building, is comprised mainly of a steel structure that's compromised substantially by rust. So if we were going to move forward with our proposed redevelopment of it, that entire addition would have to go. Secondly, we found issues with the main three wings of the building. The second floor is held up by what's easily described as a steel tray. And in that tray, you've got slabs of concrete that lay in there. And we found rust in those trays also. So at this point in time, we can't tell whether or not those trays are usable. What we respectfully asked for was an extension of the contract. And I'm not sure what the city's plans ultimately are for the property, but we need to have our engineers take a deeper look at those issues and advise us on what the cost is going to be to either remediate or completely demolish the project. But we can't move forward at this time on the contract because those things certainly weren't known to us. I respectfully asked for an extension of 120 days, and I proposed to do it by way of amendment to the contract. I don't want to prejudice the city. We're not trying to tie up the property. And so what I propose is the following. We'd like to amend the contract to allow for this, 120 days for us to give notice to the city on whether or not we're going to close or not. Within that time period, if the city wants to take other offers from other buyers, it can do so. And if it receives an offer that it would like to accept, the city notifies us, and at that point we'll be out. And 3, I'd like the contract amended so that our deposit becomes refundable in the event that we decide not to go forward. We have already spent a significant amount of time and our resources looking at the project. We did a thorough market study. We had an engineer out. We had a contractor out. We spent money on our architect to pull and review the drawings of the city and mark it up for our uses. We pulled the title report, did an examination of it. So we've already spent a lot of time on it, which I think was spent in good faith on our part. So, I respectfully, we're asking for a 120-day extension to try to make sure that it's the right fit for us and for the city.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'd like the commission to remember that this was an as-is contract. No representations were made by the city. The contract specifically says no representations are made, no warranties. Cannot rely on anything the city has said or anything that they're given. They have to do it all on their own. Same thing was presented to this corporation back in November. As you recall, we had to put it back out for bid. They've had a ton of time to prepare to go forward with their due diligence on this property. They have not done so successfully. I would recommend that the city not grant the extension and that this buyer either proceed to close next week or say goodbye to the city. He's had plenty of time, and frankly, I just think they're shopping it to see if they can flip it to somebody else. Don't know that. That's just my thought on it. He told you tonight he wasn't doing that. But in any event, they don't need 120 days. I wouldn't give them any time. They've known for a long time they had to close next week. They need to close next week.
Thank you, sir. City Manager, do you have any recommendation?
But the city attorney has a detailed or chronological time frame for this closing. It certainly has been enough time. I did listen intently of some of the information that they said they didn't have previously. I don't know what transpired between the independent real estate agent and this entity. We're not privy to most of those conversations, good or bad. You know, the building's been sitting there for quite some time. We need to do something with it. It is an eyesore. It sounds good on paper, giving you 120 days. That's just too much time to provide to an entity after we've been in this conversation for almost 5-6 months with them specifically. Then we had to put it on pause to re-advertise it. So I think 120 days is just, that's just too much time to wait. I do like the idea of if we hear a better offer, we can proceed, but at the same time, locking in to 120 days is just, it's not feasible.
Mr. Mayor, that offer of meeting anybody else's offer that comes in, it's an illusory hoax, because no one is going to offer you anything when they know they can match it, right? And you're not advertising it, so no one's going to come forward. And you've advertised this many times before. So this whole idea of someone else coming out of the blue to come in and make an offer that they're going to match or walk away from, that is just fantasy.
Okay. Just for a point of information, what was the deposit paid and how much he would
$20,000 in my escrow account. And so, you know, if they walk away from the deal, we can talk to them about whether or not they deserve the refund of their deposit.
Mr. Mayor, if I can respond to a few things, please.
Okay.
The first thing is, it's absolutely not our intent. We're not shopping to flip the property. We're applying for the loan. We're going to do the redevelopment ourselves. Initially, when we submitted the contract, we stapled a proposed business plan to that. It includes other projects that we've done, so that's not our intent, number one. Number two, my offer to allow the city to list it for sale is not illusory, because I didn't couch that in terms of a first right of refusal. You know, the city doesn't have to tell any buyer that we have a right to match it, because I'm not suggesting that. All I suggest is that the city has the absolute right to list it, relist it, advertise it for sale, and if another offer comes and they want to take it, they can have it. I didn't say we need to have the right to match it, so it's not illusory. If somebody else comes and they say we can close in 30 days, the city can say goodbye to us. That's not what we're here to do.
Mayor, their contract expires. You know what? They can always come back and make another offer. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that the city would be in a much better legal position, and I'm advising you that you should not extend this contract, let it expire, and then we'll move down the road.
I'd like to make a motion that we not accept the extension.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hill and properly second by Commissioner Bowden that we not accept the offer for an extension. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett, Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Mary Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The offer to extend the contract for 120 days extension has been denied by unanimous vote. You can work with the city attorney at some point as far as any negotiation for any refund that the city may consider doing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Madam Clerk, at this time, do we have any additional citizen comment card on agenda items only?
Miss Gina Levesque.
I thought she was going to be on the public service announcement, okay.
You want
All
us
right,
to
we'll do the public service announcement. Okay.
put her as PA?
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gina Levesque, and I'm from the Palm Beach County Commission on Ethics. First of all, I'd like to thank Commissioner Hill for her former years of service. You've served the community very well. I've been out here several times.
Walker.
And,
Walker.
I'm sorry, Walker. I'm so sorry. I knew that. That's Ms. Hill. And congratulations, Commissioner Babb, on your new election.
Thank you.
And now, each of the three of you that just got re-sworn in now have 60 days to take the training for the Commission on Ethics. It is on our website. It could be done on YouTube or streamed directly for our website, or for some people, if you need a DVD, I can send one of those out too. I have party favors for all, our guide to the Code of Ethics. It will answer many of your questions. And one of our mottos is ask first, act later. Ask for permission, ask if it's okay to do something before you go ahead and do it, because if you don't, you could get yourself in a lot of hot water, and we don't want that to happen. Our office is here to help. We're here to ask questions. We don't want to play the gotcha moment and go after anyone. That's not what we're about. We're about training and education. So if you have any questions, I am the liaison for this city to our office, and I have business cards if anybody wants them. So thank you all for your service, and thank you all for having me tonight.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, at this time, do we have in addition of public service announcements?
No, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we'll have the approval of the minutes of January the 22nd, 2019, a city commission workshop minutes.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the minutes for January 22nd, 2019 Commission Workshop minutes.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Hill for the adoption of the January 22nd, 2019 City Commission workshop minutes. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett. Yes. Mayor Babb.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The workshop minutes of January 22nd, 2018 has passed by unanimous vote. We don't have any consent agenda items, no ordinances. We do have 3 add-on resolutions. The first resolution is Resolution 2019-14. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute the state-funded grant agreement with the State of Florida Department of Transportation.
Thank you, City Attorney. Could you
Explain it?
you read the Tyler part of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If there's no explanation, then we can skip the details of it, but I'll allow the city commission if they have any questions. You've heard the resolution of 2018-14, properly read into the minutes. What's your pleasure, city commission?
Mayor, I make a motion to accept Resolution 2019-14.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and seconded, properly seconded by Commissioner Hill for the adoption of Resolution 2019-14. Call for questions. Hearing none. Are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett. Mayor Babb.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Resolution 2019-14 passes by unanimous vote. Now we'll entertain Resolution 2019-15. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute the state-funded grant supplemental agreement with the State of Florida Department of Transportation.
Thank you, sir. City Commissioners, having had Resolution 2019-15 properly read into the minutes by our city attorney, what's your pleasure?
I'd like to make a motion to accept resolution 2019-15.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hill and properly seconded by Vice Mayor Mervin for the adoption of Resolution 2019-15. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowling,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Resolution 2019-15 passes by a unanimous vote. Now we'll entertain Resolution 2019-16. City Attorney.
This is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida on the reevaluation of Lake Okeechobee operations by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers pursuant to the National Environmental Policy Act assessment for the Lake Okeechobee System Operating Manual. Mr. Mayor, this is essentially the same resolution that was adopted by the Palm Beach County Commission, and it's being offered to you for your review and approval if you agree with it.
I'd like to make a motion to accept resolution 2019-16.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hill and properly seconded by Vice Mayor Mervin for the adoption of Resolution 2019-16. Call for questions.
I have a question.
Commissioner Bolden.
I just want to make sure that this we're all in agreement that this says that we don't want the lake to drop below 10.5% feet, correct?
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay.
Exactly.
Any additional questions?
If in any way possible, can the city attorney explain this to the citizens right quick, just briefly, so that
please.
we all will be on the same page and they will understand?
The Army Corps of Engineers controls the water levels in Lake Okeechobee, as you all know, as well as maintains the dike around the lake and has been doing all the maintenance work for a long time. The Army Corps of Engineers has been getting a lot of pressure from coastal communities to stop the releases of water that go out both to Martin County and then over to the west side of the state because of fears regarding red tide and toxic algae and other issues. So they've been getting a lot of pressure to stop those releases. One of the suggestions is to lower the level of the lake down very low in the non-rainy season so that during the rainy season there's plenty of room to store water and not have to release any or as much as they have in the past. The local communities around the lake do not like this suggestion because it will have a big impact on farming operations. It will have an impact on the city of Pahokee because you won't be able to access the marina because the waters will be too low, and there'll be all kinds of other impacts here locally. So this is a resolution asking the Corps of Army Engineers not to succumb to the pressure that's been put on them with respect to the releases in the St. Lucie Canal and over, I think it's a Caloosahatchee River on the other side of the state.
Thank you, thank you.
Are there any additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowling,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett, Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Resolution 2019-16 passes by a unanimous vote. We don't have any public hearings. We have one proclamation, the ratification proclamation for Dorothy Tommy Rose. City Attorney, could you read that into the records?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is a proclamation for Dorothy Tommy Rhodes. Whereas Dorothy Tommy Rhodes, known to many as Dot, was born on August 13, 1952, to the late William C. Tommy Sr. and Mary Willie Henderson Tommy. She was the third of 9 children, and whereas Mrs. Rose graduated from Staffley High School in 1970, attended Florida Atlantic University, and obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree in elementary education in 1978. And whereas after college, Mrs. Rhodes began her educational career working at 3 schools in the Glades and retired in 2016. In 2017, she returned to the Palm Beach County School District as the reading coach at Pahokee Elementary School. And whereas on December 16, 1989, Mrs. Rhodes joined Delta Theta Sorority Incorporated with the Glades Alumni Chapter and held various administrative positions. And whereas Mrs. Rose met the love of her life, Mr. Eddie Lee Rhodes Sr., and was united in holy matrimony for 39 years. And whereas on March 15, 2019, the Lord called Mrs. Rhodes home, she leaves to cherish her memory, her beloved family, and friends. Now therefore, the City Commission of the City of Pahokee does hereby extend heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of Dorothy Tommy Rhodes in their time of bereavement. Signed by all the commissioners.
Thank you, City Attorney. Citizen Commission, with your pleasure.
May I make a motion to accept the ratification of proclamation for Dorothy Tommy Rhodes?
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Hill.
And, I'm sorry, city attorney, that's Delta Sigma Theta.
Oh.
I incorporated, I just.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. All right, thank you.
Not part of the Greek life.
Yes. Thank you.
It has been moved by Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Hill for the ratification of proclamation for Dorothy Tommy Rhodes. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett. Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The ratification of proclamation for Dorothy Tommy Rhodes passes by unanimous vote. Now we have a presentation of Lawn of the Month. Will the City Commission and the City Manager come down at the podium and join me for the presentation? Every month, the City of Pahokee awards a resident with a Lawn of the Month. It's a pleasure for us to do this. It's contagious. We have competing against neighbors, vying for this award. It also comes with a monetary award. So we feel it's prestigious. We hope that those that win it feel that way, and those that are looking to win it also feel that way. So will Ms. Erica Sandlin come up? Okay. And if you can look on the screen, the picture of his lawn, of their lawn, is up on the screen. It's a very beautiful lawn, almost look like artificial turf. I always ask the question, who are doing your lawn? I need to hire them for mine. But Mr. Sandlin, on behalf of Pahokee City Commission, Commissioner Bolden, Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin, Commissioner Felicia Hill, Commissioner Benny Everett III, our city manager, Chandler Williamson, and myself, along with our entire city staff, we would like to congratulate you on this award. It's a beautiful lawn. We thank you for your effort. It not only beautifies your lawn, but it helped bring the value of your property and the property around that property up. At this time, I would allow our Vice Mayor Mervin to actually present the certificate.
Line of the month. This certificate is awarded to Mr. and Mrs. Sandlin, 481 East Jordan Boulevard, Pahokee, Florida, 33476, in recognition of a beautifying the community. Presented this 26th day of March 2019, signed by all the commissioners and the city manager. Thank you.
At this time, on behalf of the City Commission, we would like to present you and your wife with a check. There's only one requirement or one stipulation. During the last 3 years, we have had 15 new businesses that come into Pahokee. We only ask you to strongly consider spending this money, and it's heavy, in the city of Pahokee. And at this time, I will have our newly elected City Commission, Regina Bolden, present this money to you.
I've never gotten to present money before, so there you go. And I agree. Please spend it local.
And if you would, we always allow the women to say a few words.
Thank you.
Mayor, Commission, I think next month we'll have our Mayor Barrow's Gold Hammer and Nail Award, and that's given out to a homeowner that has done significant structural changes, renovations actually to the home itself, inside and out. So we have several selections that we'll be looking at for April. That's a bigger sign and a bigger check as well. So we look forward to providing that presentation to a lucky homeowner here in the city of Pahokee.
Again, thank you and congratulations to the winner. Now we'll go into the mayor's report, which will be brief. I'd just like to thank the wonderful citizen of Pahokee for your re-electing me to a second term as your mayor. Thanks to my family, friends, and supporters, and most importantly, for your help, your prayers, your encouragement, and most importantly, your vote. I pledge to work full-time as your mayor. I've recently retired from Palm Beach County Senior Service as a supervisor for 38 years, and now I'm here to work full-time on a part-time salary. Just last week, I spent 4 different visits with our city manager. So I'm gonna stay on top of him, not micromanage him, but make sure that we continue to move Pahokee progress forward. One of the visits was to visit a potential business owner relocate to Pahokee, a chiropractor, and I walked into his office without an appointment, and I said, Chandler, there's a potential business owner that would like to meet with us. Let's go to his place of business and see if we can assist him. Now, he could have said that, I'm busy right now, let's schedule an appointment with him, but he immediately got up from his desk and went with me to meet with this potential business owner. That's the effort we'll be doing over the course of the next 3 years. We're gonna be knocking on a lot of doors. In May, we're going to Las Vegas to talk to a lot of retailers. So we're gonna be recruiting business. This afternoon, you're gonna see a promotional video. We'll be using that along with our package that we're going to sell the city of Pahokee. We realize that creating additional businesses in our city is one of our top priorities, along with housing and creating jobs and opportunities for our residents. I definitely would be remiss if I didn't thank my lovely wife for all her help during this election. She basically outworked me twice as hard. I don't think I've been able to win without her help. And so many others, former Commissioner Biggs, the fraternity that stood out and held signs and gave donation and assistance to me. I don't like to go into naming names because there's so many people that assisted. The only way you can win these type of elections is you have a good support team. Josephine, who helped in the Spanish community, getting out to make sure whoever they voted for, that they participated in the voting process. And I thank her so much for that. Just the calls and the conference and the prayers and the encouragement. This job, although rewarding, come with some downside. You get criticized probably as much as you get praised. And I've been called a lot of things, and I thought I was a really nice person, but you have to take that with a smile and learn from it. One of the things I learned on the campaign was, you got to listen to the residents and incorporate their concerns and what they want Pahokee to be. So although we may have a vision and a plan, we have to share that with them. And one of the things that I'm continuing to ask for us quarterly, at least at a minimum, town hall meeting, so you all can participate in what we're doing and get an update on the process and the progress of Pahokee. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for re-electing me and having your confidence in me. One of the things I like to do early on, I know we're celebrating Mayor Tillis on Monday. Unfortunately, myself and the vice mayor won't be there. We have a proud commitment to be in Tallahassee. We're supporting 3 youth in this community, in the Glaze community, with scholarship. So we want to support our young people who are our future. But one of the things I like to do early on is to have a day of celebration for Anquan Bolden, have a signage for him, and a day to celebrate all the contribution he have made to Pahokee. He's no longer in the NFL, but he continued to give back to this community. He have set the bar really, really high. And if our other athletes and our future athletes can do half what he have done, this city will be a lot further off than it is today. But I thank staff for the work they have done and the commission that we have here, the progress we have made. One of the hardest selling points was there's nothing happening in Pahokee. Totally untrue. There's a lot happening in Pahokee. You can tell that by the Marina, a $1.2 million renovation. We have additional $900,000 to continue the renovation, not only on the Marina, campground, and restaurant side, but also the public park side. We want that to be an amenity that this entire community will benefit from. We have railing for our new pier, or our renovated pier. So there's a lot going on. Commissioner Park, a beautiful park. Some of these things that I'm mentioning, you'll see in the promotional film. Thanks to Palm Beach County, we have received $1.6 million to renovate our gym. So hopefully by summer, that gym will be up and running, and our kids and children will have a safe place where they can play and have a nice time. Right across from the gym is a football field currently under construction, $800,000. It's an artificial turf. We still got a little ways to go. Once that completed, we're gonna need to get the bleachers and the scoreboard for that. We've also been speaking with Anquan Bolden about assisting in that area. And just to mention, under the below the gym, we're gonna continue to renovate the bottom for classroom. Hopefully, we may be able to partnership with a Boys and Girls Club. So there's a lot planned for this community. Glade Citizen Villa had a stormwater treatment done out there. Almost $1 million, about $850,000. Eastlake Village will be having a similar stormwater treatment done. We're gonna drain the canal, dredge it, so that when it rains and storms come, that water won't settle on their property. East Main Street, $3.2 million, total reconstruction. We rebuilt the road. Barfield Highway is next, a $4.6 million project. City's not gonna handle that per se. We don't even have we're not gonna handle the funding of it. The state of Florida, FDOT is doing that, a $4.6 million project. Next on line behind that will be McClure Road. So there are gonna be a lot of projects, a lot of amenities coming to Pahokee. We're gonna continue this progress. We have set the bar high. You expect more. You wanna know more. We'll live stream in our commission meeting. I tried, and most of our commissions share information that normally just would share with commissioners. We want you to be in the know of what's going on in our city, because you're gonna have to help support the city. And the negative comments sometimes we hear or see on Facebook, it kind of hurt the city image. One of the things we don't mention a lot is the rebranding effort. We well known by the county and the state and the federal government. They know these commissioner names, they know our city manager name. So if we can just continue that, and we will, this city will be great, and you will see a new, a better city. I'd like to congratulate Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin on her reelection, and as newly elected Commissioner Regina Bolden. We are a better commission. We was good prior to this, but we even better when the election of our Commissioner Everett came on board. We got better. So you all are doing a great job inventing the commission and asking what your vision are and what you are capable of doing, and you're putting the pieces together. We may not always agree, because we're different and we have different personality, but we're working toward the same goal. And we want to make sure that not only we are a team, but our community is a team, and we can move our city forward. With that said, that would be the conclusion of my report, and we will go into the city manager report. And you're going to be doing the video again?
Want to play it again?
Yes.
Well, we can kick off with that audio, IT. This is a promotional video that we've, so go ahead.
Pahokee, Florida is a little city with a big vision. It's easy to see why. The view of Lake Okeechobee is spectacular, and the progressive community leadership is pretty impressive too.
We want our residents to want to be here, to love to be here. This is a great place to work, play, and actually live.
The city is determined to build a new Florida hotspot for ecotourism and business. The Pahokee Campground and Marina, on the shores of America's second largest freshwater lake, just finished a $1.2 million upgrade. There's new landscaping, parking lots, security, and plans for a restaurant deck overlooking the lake. The state of Florida has awarded Pahokee 5 major grants to enhance infrastructure and amenities, from sidewalks and lighting to drainage and public parks. This is the only city with direct access to the lake. You can fish on the seawall or drop your boat in the water and spend the day in paradise. The right location is a huge advantage, and Pahokee offers a strategic setting, international airports, and deep water seaports nearby. Only 45 minutes to Palm Beach, 80 miles to Miami, and 90 miles to Fort Myers and the Gulf of Mexico, all via U.S. and state highways. Class 1 rail runs adjacent to the city. Sugar from Florida begins its journey here with destinations across the nation and around the world. With lower land, labor, and operational costs, companies here enjoy significant competitive advantages. In fact, overall costs are 12% lower than crowded urban markets. Pahokee is a family-oriented community. There is a comfortable small-town feeling. People love it here. Life is serene. The days are peaceful and productive. The regional workforce has a heritage in agriculture and tourism. Workers are skilled, hands-on, blue-collar, and deeply loyal to their companies.
I would say to any business looking to do business anywhere in the state of Florida that the city of Pahokee would be one of the first that I would look at. We're ready to explode. We have worked really hard in improving our infrastructure. We have great schools, we have great parks, so if you want to have an opportunity to grow, this is the place to be.
If your company is engaged in distribution, warehousing, manufacturing, or ecotourism, come explore this beautiful city with a big vision. Here in Pahokee, Florida, we are building a city and community of choice for living, working, and business development. So come check us out, and you'll love what you see.
All right. As the mayor said, we'll be utilizing that video moving forward for some of our promotional packages to promote the city of Pahokee and have conversations with external audiences that are hopefully interested in coming to the city of Pahokee. I think this city has a lot, well, I know the city has a lot to offer the right private investors, public investors, retailers. We're going to have some extended conversations over the next several months with those retailers. We'll have an opportunity to be in front of them, you know, directly and have these conversations and present those types of packages. And we hopefully, you know, after a tireless effort, we'll be able to secure not only just an interest, but someone who's willing and wanting and decides to come to the city of Pahokee for the future, for the near future as well. Mayor, my reports are much shorter. I've been in some discussions with Commissioner Hill about creating a Jazz on the Lake Festival. It's something that we feel here in the city of Pahokee will provide an outlet annually here in the city of Pahokee. We've done a lot of renovations at the Marina. We have the capacity at the Marina to create and develop such a festival that could possibly rival the one that we see annually in Miami, which is called Jazz in the Gardens. There's never been a festival of that magnitude here annually, where there has, but this will be a little different. So we'll be looking at exploring that, maybe not this fall, but maybe build into next fall a Jazz on the Lake Festival. Something that those types of festivals can do for your city, it brings in a lot of revenue on an annual basis. I can't begin to count, you know, the hundreds of thousands of dollars that Miami Gardens brings in with the Jazz in the Gardens. It is a significant 3-day event that provides that city a ton of revenue. And so we're hoping that we position ourselves correctly to explore a Jazz on the Lake Festival that will become an annual event here. We're not talking about the small time performers. We're talking the Frankie Beverleys, Earth, Wind and Fire, those type of groups that will be here on the lake and make it an annual event. We may test the market late this fall, Mayor, with something much smaller to see how it goes here in the city of Pahokee. But it's something Commissioner Hill is very interested in because she strongly feels that it's a revenue generator for the city, and we need to strongly support it, or at least research it and see if we can make it a viability for the city of Pahokee. That's something that she's been working on here in the city of Pahokee very quietly behind the scenes, and so I just wanted to make that announcement. In addition to that, we've talked about infrastructure, we've talked about economic development, but Commissioner Everett strongly feels that we need housing. That's one of his campaigns that he's going to be on for the next 18 months, is trying to get more housing interest here in the city of Pahokee on a numerous levels, be it, you know, public-private partnerships or private partnership, et cetera. We're going to, Commissioner Everett said that's one of his main sticking points for him over the next 18 months is to secure housing here in the city of Pahokee. The city attorney and I have been working with the state as far as those 30-some acres that we have out there. There's some additional information I have to provide to the state as far as release of the deed itself, to have those conversations fluidly with a development company. So those presentations that we've received from those interested groups that want to build housing, we have not forgotten you. We are moving forward with working with the state to get all the information that we need to ensure that we can proceed seamlessly and in the right order. So Commissioner Everett has made that one of his conversations in Tallahassee when we were up there, and it's something that we need to continue to keep in the forefront as well. Lastly, I know I didn't have an opportunity to speak with Commissioner Walker. She's still here. It certainly has been an honor and a pleasure to serve with her. It's certainly has been a learning experience for myself with her leadership here in the city of Pahokee. She's a long-term commissioner. She certainly deserves all the honor and the recognition that she's received, and I'm sure that she's going to be in contact with me probably more now than she was before, and I will embrace that certainly for her conversations, because I know she wants to remain involved with the city. But personally, I want to thank her for her leadership, her guidance over the last 11 years. It's something that needs to be respected and honored and remembered in this city, and that's why we honored you today for your hard work. I appreciate your service to this city dearly, so thank you very much. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Just would like to get a follow-up on the potential of the movies in the park or the movies in the community. We're planning on doing a free movie night, maybe on a quarterly basis, for the residents to come out and have popcorn and hot dog and Coke and just enjoy a good family movie. So.
Yeah, we're looking at starting at maybe late April, early May. We're trying to get some food trucks in position to see if they will commit to a monthly activity of that sort. If not, we still have the ability to do the movies in the park, even if it's just one food truck. We're still going to explore it or begin it sometime in April.
Okay, thank you, City Manager. City Commissioner, any quick questions to the City Manager? Hearing none, we'll move right along the agenda line. City Attorney report.
Mr. Mayor, I have several things to report on tonight. As the Commission knows, we previously sued Technical Marine and obtained a judgment against them for $120,000. It now appears that the chances of us collecting on that judgment are very small. Someone else obtained a judgment for $3 million before us and essentially put that company out of business. And so we're still trying to find assets, but it's not likely that we're going to see any of that money ever returned to the city or state. With respect to them, I have filed an official complaint with the general, against the general contractor who signed on that deal with the city, and I'm going after his license for various things that I believe were fraudulent and induced the city to give them that money. So that's the update on that. On the Okeechobee land lawsuit against the city with regard to 246 Main Street, that matter has not been set for trial. So there's very little to report there, other than I am going to be taking the deposition of Mimi McAndrews, who was both your city manager and city attorney at the time that lease was entered into. Her testimony on what was intended in that lease is probably going to be dispositive of that case. Next, Mr. Williamson already mentioned that he's working on an application to the state with respect to the release of a deed restriction on 36 acres. I would recommend that the commission adopt a motion authorizing the submittal of that application to the state.
Thank you. City Commissioners, haven't heard the recommendation to offer a motion in that effect. What's your pleasure?
When you said to that application to that.
It's an application to the state of Florida, the Board of Trustees of the Internal Improvement Trust Fund, to release a deed restriction on the property that was granted to the city back in the late 60s, so that that property could potentially be used for a housing project in the city.
I'd like to make a motion to accept. What the city manager, what the city attorney, do I need to sum it up?
No,
Let me sum that up, stop. I want to sum it up.
Okay.
No, I want you to redo it.
A motion to approve the application to the state of Florida to release the deed restriction on a 36-acre property.
A motion to,
Release
I
the
got
deed
too many people whispering.
Just
Everybody's
move
trying to help.
approval of what Brandenburg said.
Yes, let me make a motion to approve what Brandenburg said. Don't hold your heads down because everybody whispering. It got me looking crazy right now, and I'm trying to remember, but they're whispering. Let's
Okay.
make a motion. Who's the second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hill and properly second by Vice Mayor Mervin to have the city approve and submit an application to the state of Florida for the release of a deed restriction on the 36-acre land.
You were able to write that down.
Very
but that's
good.
okay.
I can't even see, so I can't be writing that down.
Thank you, Mayor.
Call for questions. Hearing none, you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Yes, sir.
If I'm in order, you slip, you kind of went past the discussion a little too quick for me to interject, and I don't mean that in a negative way.
No?
But I'm glad that we're taking an assertive effort to do what we need to do with regards to those the acreage, the amount of land that we have over there for potential housing. Please forgive me for my delay of slurred speech, but one of the things I would suggest strongly, and I hope, Mr. Attorney, I'm not doing anything unethical, but I would strongly suggest our commission to support the home team in terms of the group, Mr. Morrison and others who gave that presentation. I hope I'm not being putting the cart before the horse or doing anything unethical, but I would definitely say this publicly, vocally. I know that there may be other Johnny-come-latelys that have come after the presentation, but if we could strongly, if at all possible, support the home team, because when we have home team individuals being successful in making our city a community of choice, I think it's a win-win for us all, because who's better vested than individuals that are born and reared in our community? And so that's my position. That's where I stand. I would hope that my colleagues would take that into consideration.
So move, Commissioner.
I ain't been wrong. I just want to say that hospital.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner.
Mayor, next, as part of that application, the state, not as part of the application, but before it's approved by the governor and cabinet, the state requires an appraisal. And the appraisal has to be done by one of the authorized state appraisers. So it's not really something that can be put out for bid. It's not probably going to exceed anywhere near Mr. Williamson's authority to spend money. And the appraisal is not an appraisal of the land. It's an appraisal of the value of lifting the deed restriction. So it's a very specific type of an appraisal. So I would request that the board authorize Mr. Williamson to contact the state, find the appraiser in our area, get quotes, pick the right one, and move forward on that appraisal.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Commissioner, having heard the recommendation of the City Attorney, what's your pleasure?
Mayor, I make a motion for the city manager to contact the state for the appraisal of That was over there.
The 36
For
acres.
36 acres.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett. Commissioner Everett.
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passed by unanimous vote.
Mayor, if I might go right down to the Marina lease update.
Yes, sir.
Okay, with respect to the Marina lease, there are a bunch of things to report on. First, as you recall, there was an issue about whether or not we could have a master meter installed and lower the monthly bills for the water at the Marina campground. We've looked into that. It is not possible. A master meter installation is going to cost somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000. All the individual meters are owned by the county, so they'd either have to be bought or we would have to pay to remove them, all of which would be much too costly. So we're going to have to live with the metering situation that's in place, which means the monthly water bill at the Marina campground is going to be about $2,500 before the first drop of water is ever used. Okay, that's one. Second, the city needs to move forward and pay the $140,000 that the city owes the county for past water bills before they change their mind and kick it back up to $260,000. That needs to be done as soon as possible.
So that has to be paid first before the 2,500 kick in, or?
No,
Or
you're
you
getting
got
charged
this-
$2,500 a
No matter
month,
what.
whether you got campers up there or not.
Oh, okay.
Whether you shut the campground down, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get charged $2,500 a month from the county.
That's right.
Gotcha, that's a fee.
That's it.
Yeah.
City
No way around it.
City Commissioner, this motion need to be in form of a directed towards the city manager to move that he makes some arrangement to begin paying off this $140,000 debt to the water utility, Palm Beach County Water Utility.
I have a question before we do that.
Let's get a motion and we'll second and we'll call for
Okay.
questions.
I make a motion that we direct the city manager to pay the bill for
Second.
100.
Okay, call for questions.
The question is, are we paying it in one lump sum, or are we making payments? How are we doing this?
Definitely not one lump sum. We're actually still researching where that money's gonna come from. I'd love to pay it in a lump sum, Commissioner Boland, but right now, we're trying to figure out where that money's gonna come from. I have some creative ideas, how to get on a payment plan with the county, and I'll wait to have that discussion with them and then report back. But it's gonna be very diligent. It won't be something that we'll pay overnight. We're gonna have to start moving some things around here budgetary-wise, to get on whatever payment plan that they allow us to get on. There was some hope in some other activity that would have occurred to give some money in the bank to put a large, payment down and then lower it to a reasonable monthly amount. That didn't pan out, so I have to go back to the drawing board and see if we can figure out some type of payment plan moving forward, to hopefully, as city attorney said, that doesn't, take too long and they change their minds and we pay a full amount. So we're working on that, but now I got a directive. I can go to them and have a different conversation, but we still have to identify where those funds are going to come from on a monthly basis. Again, I have some ideas, but I got to make sure it's in proper order to assess or move these particular funds around on a monthly basis.
And that meeting will happen fairly soon, so that by the time we get back to the next meeting,
Or
we'll have some answers?
It'll be more of a, of a electronic conversation, phone conversation. If we have to have a face-to-face meeting, me and city attorney, we'll go and have that conversation with them.
Okay.
Commissioner Bowden, maybe if you would just amend your motion to include regular updates on that item from the city manager so we can keep abreast
So-
of how we're progressing.
Okay, so I amend the motion to put it on the agenda? Is that how you want it?
It can either be on the agenda or.
As an
get
agenda
regular-
item, so
okay.
we can get an update? Yes.
All right.
That's fine.
Second, yes.
So you want an agenda or in the city manager report?
On the agenda.
Any additional questions?
Okay.
Hearing none? Yes, yes, Commissioner Everett.
And I hope I'm trying to hear clearly what is being said, so I hope I'm not being redundant. But I think I did hear the city attorney stating, a deliberate response is needed so that the county may not go back and say, so to prevent the county from going back and say, maybe instead of paying this this amount here, you all may have to pay the full amount. Can we be very specific? I do know city staff have to go back and have discussion, but could we be specific to say next commission meeting is going to be in 2 weeks? That should be enough time to say, hey, we're going to do this lump sum amount, and the following payments we're going to pay a month to resolve this issue quickly and expedite, quickly as possible.
Yes, so noted. We'll include that as a requirement of the city manager to provide that information to us by the next commission meeting.
Yeah, because I think 2 weeks is ample time enough to come up with a lump sum amount you want to pay, and then the following month of payments you're going to pay so that we can resolve this as quickly as possible, so it won't be no more news misnomers circulating about that debt.
Okay, thank you, sir. It'll be included. Any additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes?
Vice Mayor Mervin.
Yes.
Commissioner Everett,
Yeah.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes by unanimous vote.
Mr. Mayor, the next thing is, I've learned just recently that the state will not allow that large boat out there, the Counterpoint, to conduct concerts at the marina or at the park. That boat is currently there. I think they're trying to raise funds to maybe renovate it. It's not paying any rent. So that issue needs to be addressed and resolved prior to this summer's hurricane season. If we have a hurricane and that boat is there, that's going to destroy the entire marina. So that needs to be resolved quickly. Secondly, the state, did you want to comment on that or anything?
Yeah, just, what was their reason for the denial of concerts and?
We're checking on that now to see, but the head of the Department of State Lands was very strong on our conference call with Chandler and I, saying that that would not be allowed in any lease that they present to the governor and cabinet.
Yeah,
And then how would we do-
For some clarity, I thought it was where it was located, but it would get out in open water, it were fine?
No,
It's-
they can't have any concerts that use any of the marina area or any of the park area.
So how are we going to do jazz on the lake?
So,
You're not going to use the
That was-
Counterpoint.
No, I meant, I'm
there's no way
confused.
that the commission can,
Now, for the city to do a jazz concert at your own park area under city control and management, I don't think it'll be a problem. So I think you're 100% go on your jazz in the park. It's not a go on the use of the Counterpoint. The next item that we were surprised to find out was the state will not allow the marina or the park to be used in any fashion by any cruise boat efforts. That was part of the program by the Everglades group. They've been notified of both of these items and are evaluating that right now. And again, that's part of the lengthy state rules that we were just informed about by the Division of State Lands. Next, the state is waiting on a comprehensive plan and report from the city. Will not move forward to the governor and cabinet with the sublease agreement until they get it. Mr. Williamson is working on that now. So when that goes up there and they review it and find it satisfactory, whenever that occurs, that's when they'll start planning to move forward with the governor and cabinet on sublease.
Could I just interrupt you there? I know that the commission is aware of that. I think we recently was informed this week about that requirement, but just for the record and for transparency, could you share that date that we received that information so that this don't go out the door saying that the city was in a way neglecting?
No, this is just recent information. I mean, this is hot off the press, to coin a phrase. Okay, so that's where we are on that. Now, Mayor, you know that we had a meeting not too long ago with the representatives of Everglades, yourself, myself, Mr. Williamson. During that meeting, we discussed open issues on their sublease. And there were several, which I previously discussed for the commission. Those have not been resolved, and I'd like to get some direction on them tonight if I can. Okay, the first one is that the proprietors would basically like a turnkey restaurant handed over to them with furnishings, everything in it. And have suggested that's a $200,000 item. I don't know if it's that much or not, but I'd like to have some indication of the city's position on whether or not you're willing to do that. The state is not going to fund that. It's not part of our grants, probably not likely to be part of our grants. Most restaurants, when they lease a space and move forward, they are responsible for their own restaurant equipment, furnishings, plates, forks, whatever. I do not think it's a reasonable request by Everglades to ask the city to foot the bill for that, but that's just my opinion.
I would recommend that the city look to see if there's any funding that could assist in that, and if it's not, we share that information with them, say we have done our due diligently to seek some funding. There's nothing that we have available for that, and just have to deny the request. Because again, that is somewhat unusual to request all the equipment be purchased, all the utensils, plates, forks, dining equipment, and all of the other materials that have been requested.
Mayor, I can make that conversation really short. That's no.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
We can't, there's no money that the state's gonna appropriate for restaurant equipment. They don't do that. That's fact. They're not gonna even put it in a grant for you. And the city certainly is not in a position to buy restaurant equipment. We did recently replace a lot of the equipment in there with some used equipment from an auction that the city purchased, and it was significant. It's about $10,000 worth of equipment that we put in there, and that's probably as further as I'm going to go with equipment, because I just know that there's no line item in any grant that you'll receive from the state that allows you to buy equipment for a restaurant for a sub-operator. Just not going to happen. Looking at our budget and that $140,000 water bill, that kind of ceases that conversation.
I think Commissioner Bowden had a few questions you wanted to ask.
Yes, sir. I just wondered when they signed their lease or when we started this lease, was there restaurant equipment in the restaurant at that time? And were they aware that they were going to have to replace all of that restaurant equipment?
Well, Commissioner, they've been aware for quite some time now of the status of the restaurant and the equipment that were in it. But you have to understand that this particular group has been looking at that site for years now. They were one of the original proposers probably 5-6 years ago on the site. I'm well aware of it. So when was the point in time where the restaurant equipment disappeared? Don't know. Did they know about this current status of it? Yes. They haven't signed any lease. We don't have an approved lease with them. So this is all part of our negotiations going forward.
Under the negotiations, was there any indication that any of that was going to be supplied to them? I'm not talking about tableware. I'm talking about stoves, refrigerators, that kind of thing.
Okay, in the first deal that we had signed with them and the state rejected, there was a requirement that the city provide certain equipment. And I believe, without holding me to exact equipment, that the city has provided that equipment. So that's where we are with that.
Okay, thank you.
So the answer is no on the furnishings and equipment. They need to take it the way it is now with the equipment that's there, provide the rest themselves. Okay, next. Yes, sir.
One of the questions I had with regards to the restaurant equipment, now I'm gonna say this, I want to go on the record. I don't agree with buying forks and spoons and all of that, because we didn't buy at the town center. But with regards to anything that's permanent, you know, because at the end of the day, that is our restaurant. So I'm just saying this, and I hope no one on the dais will shoot me. But what if we're installing a permanent stove, and for whatever reason, Everglades will hold it, or the city doesn't want to continue the working relationship? I've never been in the restaurant and I'm not an expert in restaurant business, but the limited knowledge that I do have, some of that stuff is built-in fixtures. So if a person buys built-in fixtures, wouldn't it not compromise the structure of the restaurant? If they move, I'm quite sure they're not going to gift it to them. They're going to want their stuff.
Sir, the current status of the lease is that anything that they install that they can remove without permanent damage to the structure, they can do so at the end of the lease.
Okay.
And all the stuff we're talking about here would be easily removed at the end of the lease by them. So I don't think it's an issue.
Okay, well, I'm fine. I'm good.
Mr. Mayor, the next issue, as you recall, was that the water lines in the campground are not functioning. The water doesn't go all the way down to the end of the campground. We believe that they were cut at a point and capped off by a former tenant. And Everglades has asked that that be fixed at the expense of the city. The manager was going to get us an estimate on that cost so that you can determine whether the city's going to do that or not.
Mayor, hopefully with the 990 that we got in phase 2, we're going to be able to address those lines. We just don't know exactly the cost. There was a plumber out there that gave me a rough estimate of about between $25,000 and $35,000 to repair those lines, and so we're going to include that repair in the phase 2 funding for the campground.
Mayor, this is something that's going to have to be resolved prior to the signing of this lease. It cannot wait for the phase 2 funding to come in if it does. So the city's going to have to commit either to fix the lines and pay for it, or we're going to have to say to the tenant, it's your responsibility to fix the lines and pay for it, one or the other.
I'm just one person. Fixing the line seems or appears to be, although it, depending on the outcome of the cost, a reasonable request of a tenant if there is line damage or broken prior to the actual signing of the final lease agreement. I don't know if you disagree with that, Attorney.
I agree with it.
Okay.
I would recommend that the city just indicate to Everglades that the city will be responsible for fixing the lines. And if you could adopt a motion instructing the city manager to move forward and hire necessary people to fix those lines. If it was just a cut in the line and it was capped, that should probably not cost you more than $5,000 to fix.
I make a motion that we direct the city manager.
Well, wait a minute, because you're making motions, hoping, thinking that you understand finances. So, you know, you got to identify money first to pay for this. Now, we have $990,000 coming in phase 2 for repairs, correct? Yes. So that repair can fall under, it's not $5,000. It's not. It's $25,000 to $30,000.
No, he was saying if it just needed to be
Well,
capped, that's just
well, according to the research, it ain't just cut and capped.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been out there with Public Works. We've seen some of the actual broken lines in the ground, and it's not just capped. It's, you know, you got to find those caps, open those caps, put in new lines, and connect. So it's not just, you know, recap. A lot of those lines that are out there are actually they're aged, meaning they're broken underground, not because someone dug them up or it's just they're rotten out. So it's a little bit more than just, you know, unsealing the caps and connecting. You have to put new pipes in the ground, and it's not just 1 or 2 campground spots. You're talking, I think it's about 15. Yeah. It's about 15 of those spots out there. You know, and you know, I don't know. It's half of a football field probably that you have to do. So before we can make a motion, but let's make a motion and say, city manager, let's go find some money first before we put a project on the city to do without proper funding. Now that's financing, and we don't have that money sitting around. We do have $990,000 that will be delivered to us hopefully very soon, and that project can fall under that 990. That's what I'm saying.
And what I'm saying is, Mayor, we need to tell Everglades what we're going to do with this, one way or the other. And it's got to be done. Can't be waiting for the 990, which we don't know when or if it's going to come. So we got to move this forward. We can't be having these issues outstanding. We're never going to get this lease done.
Yeah. If it's a requirement, that's something reasonable that we should be expected to do. We have to agree to move this forward, that we would agree to do that. Hopefully the 900-something will come in, if we can use it out of that. If not, we got to quickly identify a source, a funding source to get it paid.
Well, you know, the bright sun in the sky is the funding is imminent to be received electronically into our account. So we're not concerned about that. I'm just making you aware that you have a budget. You have an annual budget, and that annual budget is projected to do all the services that you agreed for in September 2018. Now, this is a new project that doesn't fall under your scope of your budget in 2018, 2019. That's first thing, okay? So you're going to have to wait for the 990 to get here to address this repair.
So you want to put the lease on hold?
That's not my motion. That was not my motion to wait.
Yeah. We're going to proceed, but I just wanted to ask this question on capital improvement item. We have a line item in the budget. Do we have any funds set aside for that?
I could go back to the surtax oversight committee that oversees our surtax infrastructure projects and make an amendment to our surtax oversight infrastructure projects and move fairly quickly with this project. That sitting here today, that would be my recommendation.
That's
for
one
funding.
option, and I don't dismiss.
But that's the only
but
option on the table if we don't want to wait
What I'm
for
saying,
the
the
990.
question I was asking was, most cities have what you call a capital improvement budget, where they set aside funds for events that may occur where they're gonna have to make some improvement on Ikes, and do we
Right,
have
that's our
anything?
surtax funding that we bring in. That's what we set aside for already approved projects, and it's something that comes up that we need to, under surtax infrastructure, this is one of those projects. So I was just speaking on the terms of the 990, that it can go up under there because it's imminent to be transferred to us electronically.
But-
However, if there is a motion tonight to move forward quickly, I would have to go back and revise our surtax approved plan to the county, and it's a simple process. It doesn't require a motion or anything like that, because we have a lot of infrastructure projects that fall on the surtax.
Mayor, may I make
So
a
we
suggestion?
could do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a
I
motion.
think perhaps that we should move ahead immediately
Yes.
with our engineer to send out a camera down the lines, determine what the break is, how expensive it'll be to fix it. I suspect it won't be $35,000, at least it shouldn't be in my estimation. If it is, it's gonna have to be done anyways. So we
can't
can
rent the
have that
campground
report
without it.
back in, at the next meeting and move forward and get this project done.
Okay. So we have a motion. Do we get a second?
Yeah, I'm a second that emotion.
Okay, we have a second. Call for questions.
We need to second that, because we have, waited on this project. We need to move ahead with this project. If not, we staying stagnated right now. It's time to move forward with this project. So, if it's there, the city got to fix it. Either way it goes, we need to get it done.
Well, did she finish the motion?
She motioned it.
I don't think she
well.
finished. Did you finish it, Commissioner Bowe?
If it says that we're gonna move ahead with getting this done, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have a comment, and the comment is that we can't rent the campground without this fixed. So we're losing dollars. So to say that we can't afford $5,000 or whatever, $25,000 to be able to rent spots that'll more than make up for that is, to me, not good business at all. So whether we need to find the dollars and we cut back on something else, or we move something, or we adjust the budget, whatever we need to do to get this done and get it fixed so we can move forward.
In additional questions? Hearing none, you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes,
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett, Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner. Motion passed by unanimous vote.
Mayor, the next issue from our meeting was that Everglades wanted the city to upgrade the electrical panels at all the campsites to 60 amp electrical panels. I don't think we have a price estimate on that yet. However, one way or the other, if you're asking me for a recommendation, which you haven't, but I'm going to give it to you anyways, is that you tell them no on that.
Yes, so moved.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Hill that we reject that request. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
yes,
Commissioner Everett, Mayor Bab.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The request to reject passes by unanimous vote. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, the, another issue that just came up this last week was that all the drains in the restaurant are not hooked into the grease trap that the city just recently built. Those drains are going to have to be hooked into that grease trap, whether the city rents this out to Everglades or operates it themselves. Again, this falls into the issue of instructing the city manager to move forward with that repair immediately and get it done.
Sound like this is an item that has to be done, whether they get the agreement or not. I would say that we need to move forward.
It's part of the repairs coming in phase 2 anyway, so. Yeah.
Again, we can't wait to phase two. It's got to be done before the sublease is entered into and before anyone takes occupancy of that site.
Hopefully we'll find it. Can I get a motion on that by the commission?
A motion to, what did you say, attorney?
Instruct the city manager to expeditiously move forward and
Okay.
correct the
I'd like to make
drains
a motion
at
to-
the restaurant.
I'd like to make a motion to,
If I could, we're hearing a lot of echo. I mean, we have a really sensitive microphone system here, and it reflecting back on the video. So if we could, if possible, keep our noise to a minimum.
I'd like to make a motion to instruct the city manager to expeditiously move forward with the, whatever repairs needed.
Drains
for
from the
drains
restaurant have to
from
be
the
hooked
restaurant
into the grease trap.
For the grease trap.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Hill and properly second by Commissioner Bolden to have the city expeditiously move forward. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowman,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote.
Mayor, the last issue, and this is an issue for the commission to think about for the future meetings, is that with our proposed lease with Everglades, they are, of course, a limited liability corporation, and it's a single asset limited liability corporation, meaning they have no other assets in it other than the lease. The previous proposals have been that they give the city a $20,000 deposit. No personal guarantees or any other guarantees of any nature, which means at any time, they can fold up their tent and walk away. And
No assets.
all you have is $20,000. On the other hand, they are asking you to enter into a 20-year fixed rate lease with them. Okay? So, if they had a big investment in the facility, or they would be committed to make a big investment in the facility, then you would think maybe that's a fair shake. But with, so far they've made no investment, and they are even asking you to buy the plates and silverware up there, which you just turned down. So the question is, how much of an investment are you going to require them to make, or what kind of a guarantee are you going to require them to make in return for a 20-year lease where your revenue is capped and fixed? Okay, so that's something you're going to have to grapple with. It's not something that we can't just take this sublease and, okay, we're ready to go, well, let's move it. This is the primary big issue with that lease that has to be addressed by the commission. Doesn't have to be addressed tonight, but it's going to have to be addressed before you approve that sublease.
So that LLC, so,
My recommendation is that they have to put substantial money in for improvements that will stay there if they walk away, or they have to give us some type of guarantee. Whether it's a personal guarantee, performance bond, or some other type of guarantee. Otherwise, you're signing away your number one asset for 20 years. And you can't get out of it, but they can walk away at any time and lose 20 grand. That is not a good business deal by anyone's conception.
exactly.
Not at all.
So with that LLC, that's the only asset, they don't even have any, oh, no.
That's it.
So,
Single asset corporations are something that businesses use all the time to limit
Right,
their
I understand.
liability.
I understand.
So they got no other assets, nothing in there.
That was very
I would say that I would entertain a motion from the commission that we direct the city manager and the city attorney to negotiate some type of an agreement with this company that we can then come back and vote upon, approve it or reject it. We have limited time, so hopefully that can be done by our next city commission meeting. That's something kind of out of our pay grade. You know, you let your professionals do it and bring us a recommendation whether this is a agreeable agreement from there.
Mayor, I make a motion that the city attorney and the city manager get with the Everglades Holding and work out a negotiation that's best for the city.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Hill that the city attorney and the city manager work out an agreement with Everglades Holding that we can then at our next commission meeting approve or reject. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for questions?
Yes. I guess my question is, what would be the options? You said a substantial deposit.
Most,
Because what I call substantial and what you call substantial may not be the same thing. So
most
give me a
commercial
ballpark.
leases, when you're renting a substantial restaurant, they will require a personal guarantee of the parties involved up to a certain dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
And they require, of course, the restaurateur to build the entire place out, including all the furnishings, furniture, everything.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little different because we have a history of failure up there. So we have to keep that into account and keep perspective on this. But $20,000, no way. So we have to reach some sort of a happy medium where the city feels that you have some substantial guarantee by them that they're not just going to walk away or threaten to walk away every time they don't get their way with the city, which is almost more important.
Okay, so I guess my question would be, if we're saying, which we just did, that we're not buying any more equipment and they're gonna have to buy it, and you said that should be between 100 and 200,000.
Right.
That's a pretty substantial investment.
Not for 20 years on that huge site up there with the campground and everything else.
So ballpark.
That is not a substantial investment.
Right, and so then ballpark substantial investment would.
I can't really say off the top of my head. I don't want to throw that number out. We need to talk to them and try to reach a happy medium.
Okay.
So any input that any commissioners might have, or you may know someone in the commercial real estate business that's an expert at leasing out restaurants, that would be helpful.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry, Mr. Everett has something.
Yes, yes, sir.
I'm not in the commercial business either, and we do have a city attorney, and he's really been on it tonight. He's earning his money, I tell you. I would definitely.
One meeting over 10 years isn't bad, is it?
Well, I only been with you one, but you're doing a good job tonight. I haven't. I don't know all of the intricacies of commercial, all that good stuff. But I would really rely on your legal advice, and I will say $20,000 deposit or a 20-year lease, giving them as much leeway, wiggle room, and autonomy as to walk away whenever. Really doesn't make sense for us having what we having our number one asset. I do want to say to my commission, my colleagues, that we really need to look at this with a very critical eye, and take some very purposeful steps forward to ensure that our interests are protected as well, because I don't think that's a good agreement at all. Not $20,000 deposit and they can walk away if they so choose with only losing $20,000. And with us boasting as the only city with direct access to the largest lake in the United States, that second largest lake in the United States, I just think that's asinine, and it needs to be looked at critically. We want economic development, but we darn sure ain't desperate.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Everett. In additional comments, in additional questions, hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, City Attorney. Now we'll move to citizen comments and general concern. City Clerk, at this time, do we have any comments cards completed by citizen?
Yes, sir, we have only one, Ms. Catherine Marvez.
Mayor, I filled out one as well.
Okay,
It was turned in at 7,
okay.
16.
We'll put it on the general concern.
Okay.
Good evening, Catherine Marvez, 1838 East Main Street. Congratulations to the newest members and re-members, and congratulations to the old guys for getting a great team to work with you. I guess my talk now is going to be a little redundant. It came upon as the video was first being shown at the beginning of the evening, and then as I sat through the meeting, I heard some things about the Jazz Festival, about the boat, about bringing things in. And I really have so many more questions about how these things are going to be done successfully, because we can bring a jazz festival here, but we don't have the infrastructure to support it. So from a project manager point of mindset, I want to see your charter committees put back on the table, brought back to the forefront, so that the citizens who are interested in participating in what the city does and how it works, and assisting you and also guiding you as the people that they elected to represent them. I would like to see those committees put back so that the citizens could have a little bit more voice and participation, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. For instance, I've heard some things about contract negotiation. And when you asked for a commercial realtor or for an expertise, I had no idea that we are negotiating contracts of that sort without having expertise on it. And I'm not saying that nobody here is not an expertise, but when you're negotiating a large contract like that, I can negotiate any contract I want. I'm not a commercial real estate broker, and it behooves me for due diligence to contact and have somebody on my side who can give me information, not necessarily that I have to follow it, but it gives me a bigger picture about what I'm getting myself into. Because ultimately, I still believe that whatever happens in this city, it is your responsibility, yours and yours. We are all here, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, for success. To have each one of you who is sitting up here, even you, be a wonderful success for the city of Pahokee. The other thing about going to Las Vegas, it behooves you, and I want you to think about this. Every time you come to somebody who you want to talk to about the city of Pahokee, please, in your mind, put Pahokee first, vendor second, and work together to make sure that whoever you bring in here is the fit, is what the citizens want, and what's going to be best for Pahokee. It's not going to be easy. You're really going to have to play along with it. And I think that's where those citizen committees who can address you and give you their information and what the citizens want is really going to help stop the negativity, stop the commission bashing, stop the city manager bashing, if everybody is working together well. And I'm also really happy to see that I feel like this year you're taking more of an active role in what's going on. And so these things that we've had problems with, let's do it right the first time. Let's get everybody in the mix and slowly weed it up to a really good presentation, a good lease, a good recommendation for whatever we're going to move forward with. Congratulations to all of you, and I think everybody here is willing to help? Oh, sure, none of these people, okay, it's just me.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You can call Sam.
Mr. Sam McKinstry?
Sam McKinstry, 371 East Main Street. I have a couple of questions for the city manager. City manager, why was EH or ERH taken off of the state legislation's agenda? And when will it be put back on?
I was what taken off?
Why was the ERH deal taken off the state agenda and legislation's agenda, and when will it be put back on?
City attorney?
Okay, that was pulled off the agenda when we determined there was a permitting issue with regard to the sewer system at the marina. There was a break in the line that could cause raw sewage to flow into Lake Okeechobee. Once that was discovered, it was immediately addressed, and the state wanted that taken care of before they would consider moving the item forward. They've subsequently asked for the comprehensive plan for the marina. The comprehensive plan they've asked for is they want a listing of how all the monies were spent on the first $1.2 million. They want a description of how the $980,000 that's pending from the state to the city will be used. They want a description of how the $1 million ask that is now pending before the legislature, what that money will be used for. Then they want a assessment of what it will cost beyond all that to bring the entire property up to conditions that are acceptable to move forward. And then lastly, they want a description of how the sublease by Everglades will fit into and promote all of the above. They want that comprehensive report so they can give it to the governor and cabinet, and they are not going to move this project forward till they get it.
Whose responsibility is it to give them that report?
It's the city's responsibility. Mr. Williamson is working on it now, and we're getting input from other folks.
Mr. Williamson, if you remember back last summer, you had Ms. McKinley up at the marina. Mr. Mark Miller was present as well. There was an issue with a pump that you said was new, which was not new. It was cleaned, and you said it was new. You told Ms. McKinley that the pump was new when it wasn't. Why did you lie to Ms. McKinley, our county mayor?
Mr. McKinstry?
I have Mark Miller on the line if you would like to verify this. He was there.
Mr. McKinstry, I'm not going to try to recollect what I thought I said or what you thought I heard. It's fixed.
But why did you lie to our county commissioner?
Thank you, Mr. McKinney. Time is up, sir. Thank you. City Clerk, are there any additional comments called from citizen?
No, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we'll move into the correspondence, comments, and concern of the city commissioners. And we're going to start with Commissioner Everett, so I don't forget him. Commissioner Everett.
That's the reason why, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
But I want to say to Mrs. Regina Boland and to our returning commissioner and vice mayor, Mrs. Claire Mervin, a very heartfelt congratulations on your election and re-election as a newly elected commissioner and a returning commissioner. As Mr. Mayor aforementioned, I'm looking for us to do greater things in this upcoming year. Also looking forward to working with you, Mrs. Boland, a wonderful addition to our commission. I ask that you will please keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I'm doing much better. I hate that I could not be with you all physically, but I'm grateful for the advancement of technology that I was able to call in. It's much more that I could say. I wasn't able to write it down, but I think we're on a positive move forward. Thank you, city manager and staff, for correcting the issues that were on the marina, whether it was a clean pump, broken pump, fixed pump, what have you. I'm grateful that it was taken care of. What we can do now is move forward and not try to collect milk that has been spilled. One of the things I would say in regards to some of the issues that are still dangling is we don't need to wait for the 990 to do it. If we can do it as quickly and deliberately as possible, I want to say thank you to the commission for holding our city staff responsible to say, let's address these things immediately, and let's spend that 990 in a way that is going to enhance and position our city for economic development. Like I said, it's a lot that I can say. I look forward to coming back to the meeting at our very next meeting, but I think we're on the right road, and as I stated, and I'm glad the city manager made mention of it, is that housing is definitely a major focus of mine this year. And I can't say it again, I'm so happy that we have some home team individuals that have come in to present and say what they are looking forward to do in terms of generating the much needed housing. And also, I think I heard something about State Market Road. Those persons are still interested in conversations that are going on even with that housing conversation. And also recreation. We need to definitely engage and keep our children engaged in as much positive and constructive things as possible. So I'm looking forward to a very successful upcoming year. And again, ladies, congratulations. Also to you, Mr. Mayor, I didn't forget you.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations to you, and thank you for your leadership and the balance that you provide. Also, with my last thing I'm gonna leave is with the hospital. I'm just tickled pink. I think we could look at using that as a city municipal complex. I think that was an idea that was mentioned a while ago about that anyway. And y'all should have listened to me. We wouldn't have had to go back and forth. But I'm going to leave it alone. Even though the city attorney silenced me, y'all still should have listened. But, you know, I thank God he answered.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the comments. That's about some preachers, man. Commissioner Hill, you take.
Okay. All right. First, I want to also congratulate the re-elected commissioner, mayor, vice mayor, as well as you, mayor, and lastly, our newly elected official, Regina Bolden. Bolden, I want to welcome you. I'm sure you'll be a very good asset to this diocese, and I'm sure you will do a great job for the city. I also want to go back on the hospital. I pray that we can find some investors or find someone that can really get this hospital situated and get some things done with it, because I'm sure it is an eyesore, and I think it needs to be fixed. It really does. It needs to be concentrated on and fixed, and I'm sure we're going to get together and continue to work on that diligently with that hospital. And I also want to let our citizens, I don't really, I'm not on Facebook like that, but I really wish that we can start having some more positive reflections for our citizens, for our commissioners, for all our leaders, even for just the city in general. We really do. We really need to consider, I mean, when we see a lot of this stuff on Facebook, we have people looking at these recordings and looking at this stuff, and I kid you not, and I'm not saying it because we're commissioners or it's about the commissioners, but it's just a reflection of all of us, and it doesn't look good. Even if it wasn't about me, if it wasn't about the mayor, it just does not look good. Can you stop it? No, we know we can't stop it, but sometimes you just have to, don't feed into certain things. If you don't feed it, it won't grow. And it's so sad because some of the things you see and you hear on there, half of it is not accurate. It's just not true. And they just need to start coming to the meetings and getting the information and coming to the source. Because you just don't know. Sometimes when you go to the person or you go to the source, it's totally different from what you believe or what you've heard. So I don't feed into the Facebook or even the social media mess, period. But I saw some things and it really sickened me. I was a part of it, and all of us was a part, majority of the commissioners here was a part of it, and it's really sad. It doesn't look good. So it is a reflection of our city, and I know that we can do much better than that. It's only a handful of people but they can really do a lot of damage, and we're not the only ones looking at that. There are other people looking at it. So when you see that on there, sometimes just try to bypass it or just try to not to even feed into it. Then I want to say I wish that some of our citizens can come out, which is where I work, at Palm Beach State College, and visit that college. It's really a lot of things going on out there. We have a lot of PSAV programs going on for cosmetology, barbering, and I think a lot of the citizens, quite a few citizens in this community would benefit from it. So you get a chance, just have them to come out and visit Palm Beach State College. They have a variety of bachelor programs going on now. And trust me, there's some very good programs, and I'm sure that a lot of the citizens would be interested in those programs. But for the most, I want to congratulate you, Regina, congratulate the re-elected officials, and tell my community, let's just continue to take care of each other the best way possible and stay positive and keep that positive reflection on everybody.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Bowden.
I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it.
Uh-oh.
Now, if it only charged up, we're in good shape, right? Okay. First, I want to say thank you to everybody who helped me with the election and made it possible for me to be up here tonight. Those are way too numerous for me to name, but you know who you are, and I really do appreciate it. And I want to let everybody know that even if you didn't vote for me, I'm still your commissioner, and you can still call me, and you can still contact me and ask me questions, not a problem. My contact information, because I know this is going out live, is rbohlen, B-O-H-L-E-N, @cityofpahokee.com, and my phone number is 561-914-5886, and you can call or email me anytime. I do plan on being in the commission office. I'm probably the luckiest person in the world because I can literally go out one door, close it, and go in next door and start back to work on another job. So that's at 115 East Main Street, Suite B. A is the other job. And I'll be there hopefully at least 2 afternoons or evenings a week. So I want you to know that you can just stop in and talk to me. I got a lot of questions while I was out there on the campaign trail, and I want to tell you that I am working on getting the answers to those questions, and I will let you know as soon as I have an answer. And believe me, I'm like a little bulldog. I don't let loose. I'll get the answer. So I'm also I met with the city manager. That was a very good meeting. I met with the city attorney. That was also a very good meeting. And I met with the city clerk, so I think I met everybody that's worth meeting anyway. So anyway, but it was very good. I'm going to be in training for newly elected because obviously I need some training, you can see, right? And that's through the Palm Beach County League of Cities. And I want to mention that I would like to have a workshop for the commission. I know when Commissioner Everett was new. He asked that we do a workshop, and I'm asking, please, let's do a workshop where we can sit and talk. And a lot of you probably don't know this about me, but I am a 1, 3, 5, 10-year planner. And I really think that it's important that we get together and talk about what our long-range plans are for this city. So I would ask that we look at doing that. One of the things that I definitely want to say is thank you to Commissioner Walker. I could not have done it without your support and your encouragement, and I really appreciate everything that you did. And congratulations to Mayor Babb and Vice Mayor Mervin. I'm happy to be here and be a part of this. I do want to encourage everybody, and I know we don't have the audience that we had a little while ago, but nonetheless, there are, as Ms. Marvez said, there are charter committees that we need to get up and we need to get them running. And that's code, economic development, beautification, education. So there are so many committees, so please don't just sit out there and say this is wrong and that's wrong. Get involved, join a committee, put in your application. Everybody who told me they are interested is gonna get a call from me, believe me. Okay, so you might as well get ready and get your application in. So the other thing that I did talk to people about while I was out and about was that I would like for us to look into a translator or some kind of translation for this meeting to be in Spanish so that the Hispanic community can be more involved. Because if you don't understand what we're saying, you certainly can't make any comments and you can't be a part of the community. And they are a part of our community and we need to acknowledge that. So I would ask that we look into what's the cost of having that done. Or can we get that donated, or how do we set it up? So I'm throwing that out there, and that's going to be something I'm going to bring up every meeting until we get a cost or we get it taken care of. So lastly, I would like to just take off my commission hat and put on my chamber hat and say thank you to everyone who came out and participated in I Love Pahokee Day. That was a wonderful day. We had a wonderful time. It was just more than I could expect, and those little kids dancing were awesome. They were awesome. So if you missed that, you got to go on Facebook. That is good. Facebook is good for that, definitely. And those kids were awesome. So I'm so proud of them. I just want to say, please, many thanks to everybody, and please keep our city and especially me in your prayers. I'm going to need it. Okay, thank you, and good night.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowden. I know this is about us tonight, so I would just ask my lovely wife just to stand up and
give her a
take a
hand.
little bow. Thank you. Y'all dressed up and she's on camera. And Mr. Bowden, would you stand up? Regina, her husband, so we'll know who our spouses are.
Good little son.
And we didn't get the pleasure of seeing Mr. Mervin tonight. He was all dressed up at her last first election, so I was looking forward to that. Now we'll let our Vice Mayor close it out with final comments.
I have about 4 pages.
Oh, Lord.
First of all, I want to give my honest and sincere thank you to Commissioner Walker. Thank you for your service to the city of Pahokee. I wrote it down so I won't forget it and not cry, because I'm easily cry. But may you have a relaxing new chapter ahead of you. One where you will have unlimited time enjoying your life and focusing on your health. We know that you will always be a commissioner at heart, so we know it doesn't stop here, because we know you love your city. Thanks for making Pahokee what it is today. Now you can unwind your mind and spend some time with your family and your friends. The main course of your life have been amazing. Relax and distress your mind. Wish you a long, happy, and healthy retirement. We love you.
Thank you, Commissioner Everett.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I thought you came.
That's just my part, just to Commissioner Walker.
She said she had 4 pages.
First of all, I wanna,
Disrecall you if you do that.
first of all, I want to thank God, who is the master and the savior of my soul, through his son, Jesus Christ. To the fine citizens of this great city of Pahokee, my fellow commissioners, the manager, the staff, the attorney, and to all my father's children. I thank you for your trust in me, for allowing me to serve as your commissioner for another term. To everyone that knocked on doors, made phone calls, encouraged your family and friends, to my family and friends, everyone that tweeted about the campaign, this victory is yours. Thank you. There are so many inspiring individuals and organizations who made this victory possible. I do want to acknowledge this person in my life who guided and advised me at every turn. That was my husband of 18 years, Thomas Bernard Mervin. I say thank you to him for allowing me the opportunity to serve my city. I am grateful for all the encouraging words, prayers, and belief in me, for his patience and standing right next to me. Because believe me, I didn't cook any time on the campaign. To everyone whose vote I did get, I promise that I won't stop working to earn your trust. Pahokee citizens are strong and resilient. They're dedicated and they're big-hearted. To maintain that greatness and ensure that our brightest days are ahead, I will continue to strive as a co-laborer with my fellow commissioners to move this city forward by the grace of God. The last couple of years have been economically challenging for all of us. As we go into this new year, we will take what we've learned over the last couple of years and continue moving forward and capitalizing on new opportunities. We will see the many projects that are in the pipeline finish and confront the issues that lie ahead. There is no doubt in my mind that we will continue to keep our city a beautiful, progressive, and safe place to live, a place we can call home and be proud of. I am proud of what we've accomplished in the campaign and humbled by it. And let me say to all, from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. But let me be clear, our work is not done. This is just the beginning. And we have no illusions about the task that lies ahead. The challenges we face have been in decades in making, and the problems we set out to address will not be solved overnight. It won't be easy, but it is essential. We all have a shared responsibility and a shared stake to make sure this destiny is defined by how hard we work and how big we dream. We must work to promote a real partnership between the police force in the community and acknowledge we are stronger and safer as a city where police and residents work hand in hand. That's how we rise together. Let's stand in unity. Let's stand in hope. Let's stand in faith. So I say thank you. The road ahead will be difficult, but it will be traveled. Progressive changes won't happen overnight, but they will happen. There will be many obstacles that stand in our way, but we will overcome them together. I will never forget as a commissioner that I work for you, the citizens of Pahokee. We are at our best when we come united, and we reach our greatest heights when we are all rise together. Thank you, and God bless the city of Pahokee. We all must work together if we expect all of Pahokee to move forward. Pahokee strong. Thank you.
This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
Amen.
All right, Mayor.
Thank you, honey.